dear, Laura here. Now, today I got a BH Cosmetics order in, and I wanted to show you the brush. I got some new brushes, as well as a few palettes. And I'll show you the rest of the haul, but I wanted to try the brushes out before I did anything else, because then I can do my makeup. So these were on special, so they were marked down to $11 something for a set. So it's a 12-piece set, and I was particularly interested in some of the little eye brushes that they had. Things like this. It's got a cute little holder to go with it, and they are all individually wrapped in plastic as well. So they were like in the holder, all individually wrapped in plastic in a box. So yeah, they were pretty well protected. But I was particularly interested in these eye brushes. And the other brushes look like shapes I would use. So I wanted to try those out. I've just got numbers on them, so yeah. So number 1 is a round powdered brush, nice and soft. Comparing it to my Wet n Wild powder brush. I think they're about the same. Comparing it to my Artiste one, it's definitely softer than my Artiste one. It's also a lot more densely packed. Number 2 is an angled contour brush. So that looks like that. So it's supposed to be a contour brush, but it wouldn't be my first choice as a contour brush, because I quite like these really skinny ones for a contour brush, but it would be good for blush, in my opinion. So let's have a look at the blush brush, which is number 3. Number 3 is the blush brush. So I quite like that. Probably is a highlighter brush, because just because it says it's a blush brush doesn't mean that's what I want to use it for. An angled flat definer brush is the next one. That one I would probably use more as a contour brush. I suppose that one you could use under your eyes, but I usually use a smaller one for under my eyes. And number 5, pointed highlighter brush. So that is what I would use that for too, or I would use that for powder under my eyes. Number 6, where's number 6? Number 10, number 7, number 6, large blending brush. So these are getting into the ones that I was particularly interested in, and that would be a large blending brush. Sounds about right to me. Number 7 is a blending crease brush, which is just a slightly smaller one, which, yep, it feels like about the right size. And number 8 is a precise blending brush, and these ones and this one particularly were the ones that I was particularly interested in, and the next one. So for doing those more precise little bits in the crease. And it's number 11, 12, 10. Number 10 is an angled shader brush. Hang on, where's number 9? Number 9. This is number 9, which is an all-over shadow brush. I'm probably more likely to use that in the crease as well, for deepening up the crease. And number 10 was an angled shader brush. I wonder what I'd use it for. I have some other ones that are similar, but I usually end up using in my crease as well. I like flat brushes for my lid. Number 11. Which one's number 11? A pencil brush. Is this what they call a pencil brush? I always wondered what they call a pencil brush. I thought it would be pointier than that. It's quite firm compared to the other ones. So that would be like my outer corner. I'd probably use that, and maybe my crease a bit. And then the last one is an angled liner brush. Now I wouldn't use this as a liner brush because it is too big for my eyes. When I do angled liner, I either use, when I do liner, I should say, I either use a really tiny one so you can see the difference in the sizes, or I actually go for something really little like this, or I go for even something smaller and just use like a pointy brush so I can have more control. So this would be too big for a liner brush, but I'd use it for smudging out liner. So those are what they look like. Let's see how they work. I'll stick them in the little holder so they're not all over the place. It's quite a cute little holder. So I'm going to use my Lemon Drizzle palette by Revolution. And I'm going to go in with number 6. Look at what number 6 is supposed to be, the large blending brush. I don't really care what it says they're supposed to be, I just use them for whatever. And I want to go in, I'm going to go in with Sharp and Sweet and do some blending. Oh, it feels nice and soft. It is really soft. I just want to keep rubbing it on my face because it feels nice. And I'm going to go in with Afternoon Tea. And normally I just kind of keep going with the same brush, but because I've got many brushes to try out, I'm going to try out number 7, which was the Blending Crease Brush. So I'm going to go in with Afternoon Tea, the Blending Crease Brush. That one's lovely and soft too. And that fits nicely in my crease for blending out that colour. It'd be too big for a more precise colour, but that's okay. I'll go back into the big blending brush. And then I'm going to go in with Slice of Cake. So I'm going for a brown look to do with it. So I'm using number 8 now, so I've gone from 6 to 7 to 8. Gradually getting smaller, so the large blending brush. This one's fairly unique to my collection, this brush, I think. Having a quick look. I've got this one which is similar, which is the Real Techniques, what's it called, crease brush. Yeah, blend, no. Essential Crease brush. So these are the same, in this one here is similar but a lot shorter and more tightly packed. So I don't think I've got anything else like it. So the other one's always dirty, so it's good to have another one in my brush collection. That fits nicely in my crease. It's so soft. Feels nice. And now I want to, normally I would go in with a flat brush, but the set doesn't come with a flat brush, so I will try, what shall I try? The All Over Shadow Brush, which was number 9, which I think, no, that was number 10. All Over Shadow Brush. Number 9, yep. So this is what they call the all over shadow brush. So I'm going to try this one, and I'm going to go into Zingy. Getting lots of the browns today. That picks it on fine. That's what it looks like. Now, just as an experiment, I want to go in with my favourite flat brush, and I'm going to put that on my other eye with the same colour, just to see if it makes any difference in how it applies. So it does pack it on a bit more. It's not a huge difference. It does pack the colour on a bit more with the flat brush compared to this one, which is a bit more fluffy, which is what I would expect. This one, is it just the light? The way the light's shining? Could just be the way the light's shining. I feel like this one's showing it the gold sparkle in it better than the flat brush. What do you think? Could just be the way the light's shining on it. It could be that it's so subtle you can't even tell. Yeah, I would use that number 9 brush as a flat packing brush. It does work nicely. I like it. Feels nice. Now, it doesn't have an inner corner highlight brush. The closest it gets is this brush here, which is your angled brush. And I'm going to go into a different palette because I haven't got a cream shimmer the Lemon Drizzle palette, so I'm just going into my Pan That palette, which is my Beauty 101 Profusion palette. It's a bit scratchy for that particular job. I'll have to try that one out, sort of smoothing out something underneath. So I'm going to put my base on, and then I'll come back and try some of those bigger brushes. That's what it's looking like so far. I'm going to go over with, I'm going to use the powder brush, the number 1 brush, and powder my face. I'm just using my Wet n Wild bronzer in, what's it called, Reserve Your Cabana, because it's too light for a bronzer. I just use it as like a slightly shimmery face powder. Seems to work fine for that brush. No complaints there. What else haven't I used? So I'll try their angled contour brush as a contour brush, but I don't think that's what I would normally use it for. So I'm going to go with my contour palette. This is just my OXX Studio face palette. Nice soft contour. So if you didn't want a sharp line or anything, this would work. I haven't got an actual bronzing brush, they just have what they call a contour brush. So I'm going to go in with the blush brush, which they call their angled flat, no, their tapered blush brush. So I'm going to go in with my Pan That Palette blush here, get up on my, mix up well. Do quite a precise application of blush as this one. I think I'd probably want to go over with my bigger powder brush and just blend it out though. But if I wanted a more precise application, like sometimes I'll do this blush and then I'll go in with a darker one just to define it a bit, and this brush would be good for that. And they haven't got anything that they would call a bronzing brush, because the bronzing brushes I use are quite big. Like this is similar, this one here, which is the Simply Essentials, is similar to the BH blush brush, but it's lots bigger. So I'm just going to go in with my bronzer with that, because I like to have a nice big fluffy brush for my bronzer. And then they call this one, this number 5, the pointed highlighter brush. So I'm going to go in with my highlighter out of my Pan That palette and see how that works. Oops, it's crumbling up my highlighter. Yeah, I like that as a precision. Why can't I say that word? I like that as a highlighter brush for when you want to get your highlighter in a particular place. Cool. Just making that highlighter really pop like that. I usually don't do the highlighter with a brush on my nose or my Cupid's bow, because I just find it looks better if I just use my finger for that, with any brush that I use. And I think I'll just get my powder brush and just blend that out a bit. Very shiny. So I haven't used these 3 yet. So I'm going to use this one, and I could have used it before, but I'll just do things out of order, that's fine. I'll use this one. It's number 4, angled flat definer brush, and I'm going to go into this cream powder here and define my contour. So that works well for that. Now, I haven't done under my eyes with powder today because I'm having a bit of trouble with allergies and my eyes are too dry underneath to powder today, so I'm not going to even attempt that. So, I'm going to go in with my brown eyeliner, which is getting really tiny, see? And I'm going to go in with the little angled one, which they call that the angled liner brush, and I'm going to use that for smudging out the liner. If you haven't got wrinkly eyelids, you won't probably have to do this, but because I do have wrinkly eyelids, I do. And I think I want to go into a darker brown. I think I'm going to go into this brown here out of my Pan That palette with that brush, and I'm just going to stamp it along here. So I said I wouldn't normally use this bigger brush for going over my eyeliner. It's just a little big, it's getting a bit messy. It's putting the colour on well and everything, but it's just getting a bit messy to do it. Just using that little pencil brush to blend it out a bit. So I'm going to go in with the pencil brush, and what colour do I want to go in? I'm going to go in with this colour here and deepen up that outer corner. Yeah, I don't know what I feel about that pencil brush yet. I'm going to have to use that a bit more before I decide. And I'm going to use this last one, number 10, the angled shader brush, because I haven't used it. And I'm just going to use that to smoke out that bottom lash line. That fits nicely under there to do that with. So that is every brush used. If you really try, you can use a lot of brushes for a look. And we'll put some mascara on. So I'm just going to go in with my Revlon Naughty Nude blush and that blush brush again, because I just want to add a little bit more colour. So yeah, that one's really good for that precise pop of blush to get it just where I want it. So that's my look. What did I think of these brushes? I actually really like them. The set's not every single brush that I would use, because as in there are some other brushes I would pull in and use, but I can use every brush. But I think these two would be the ones that I would be the least likely to use. But all the rest I would definitely use. I would probably use this angled one more as a highlighter brush than a contour, but if I had a contour powder that was a bit dark or something, I could probably use that for that, because it'd be a lighter application than what I normally do. And the reason why I wanted this set was for these eye brushes. These all work really well. I really enjoyed all those. And I did want one of these sort of shaped highlighter brushes, which worked really well. I really like the effect that that had on my highlighter. So overall, I'm really happy with my BH brush purchase.